If you want me to, I will.
Go, Lauryn.
Legends and Leapers.
Leader, you are a leader, you are a leader, rising right out the ranks. You're a leader, lessons will teach you just how to reach your endless ambitions. Oh yeah, look at yourself in the mirror, turn that frown upside down. Show what you're working with. You can't depend on someone else to see your future. That part is up to you. Be a leader. You are.
All right, good afternoon or good morning, depending on when you are viewing this. And by the way, we are recording this, so it's very likely that you're probably watching this in the evening or whenever as well. My name is Ramon Lowe, and I'm the Director of Membership and Industry Engagement for the Airport Minority Advisory Council. Welcome to our monthly virtual, mainly virtual, I should say, program Legends and Leapers, where we pair an industry legend with an industry leaper. And basically, it's a way for Lauryn and when he's here, Ricky Smith to have fun at our guest expense. But we're not going to get into that right now because we have the lovely Justina Mann sitting in to help. Calist Emerging Leader Award winner Lauryn Mangum Reed with the hosting duties for today. I know you can put your hand on your forehead. That doesn't mean anything. I'm going to say it anyway. So anyway, before we get started, a couple of really brief announcements I would love to make. One, I know this is the first, I believe, virtual Legends Leapers we've done since the conference. By the way, if you weren't at the event, at the conference, we say this every year, the best to date. So thank you to our friends at New Orleans International, Louis Armstrong, New Orleans International Airport, Kevin Dolio, Aaron Burns, and the whole team for helping us to really execute an unbelievable event, our 40th. So if you were not aware, our 41st is going to be next year, June 10th to the 14th. It's going to be in Washington, D.C. But before we get that, we're still basking in the afterglow of this past year's conference. So this is our first virtual Legends Leapers since then, because we did one in person. I'm not going to say who was the guest because you should know, and you should probably feel guilty that you didn't make it to the conference. So you should have been there. Anyway, with that, the other announcement I would love to make is September 18th and 19th, our second annual She Soars Women in Aviation Summit. We're doing it again for the second year in a row with our friends at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. We're Again, this is if you were there last year for our very first one, it was great, unbelievable turnout. We had great speakers and just all around great networking, making sure that we help advance really a lot of women into positions of influence within our wonderful industry. So please do not miss it. You can go to amac-org.com/WIAS and you can get information on how to register, purchase a sponsorship. We still have many out there that are available. If you have any questions regarding sponsorship, feel free to reach out to me. I'm going to put it in the chat. So without further ado, I'm going to take it away from me. I'm going to hand it over to Miss Lauryn Mangum Reed, the Catalyst Emerging Leader Award winner for 2025. Lauryn?
Thank you. I was just getting used to being called the mother of emerging leaders, and now this, Ramon. I'm not ready. Thank you so much, Ramon. And Ramon, I just want to make sure that we set the tone for next year's conference. It is Baltimore, Washington. Not just Washington, D.C. That's correct, because BWI is the host airport, and Shanetta Griffin is leading the helm there with her team. So I'm just gonna throw that out there. But thank you so much, Ramon. Super excited for She Soars. Really excited to be coming off of a phenomenal
Baltimore
conference.
was in Maryland.
It is. It is. Yep, that's why I wanted to make sure that everyone knew exactly. But you can take a train over to Washington or just drive. It's not that far. The DMV area is absolutely beautiful. So we're excited to host the conference there. But coming off just a really a high, I think Ramon used the term afterglow, but really just a high from the conference. And super excited to have these two wonderful people. I'm not going to name drop, but there was some celebrities on the stage at the conference for Legends and Leapers. But I told Louis and Jennifer that they can't hold a candle to these two individuals that you guys will be witnessing virtually today. So without further ado, I don't know if I should start with the dissertation of a bio or Louis's. I'm gonna You know what? We're just gonna get the legend out the way, okay? So Jennifer Reynolds is the founding principal of Ideation Design Group, a Phoenix-based multidisciplinary design firm specializing in architecture, interior design, food service, procurement, and graphic design for clients across the United States and internationally. With over 20 years of experience, Jennifer is widely recognized for her ability to translate brand vision into built environments that engage, inspire, and elevate the customer experience across industries, including hospitality, restaurants, and retail. A respected figure in the aviation sector, Jennifer has overseen the successful completion of more than 3,000 airport restaurant and retail projects worldwide. Her work masterfully blends brand storytelling with spatial performance and operational precision, positioning her as a trusted partner for high stakes, high traffic environments that require both creativity and expertise. I'm not even halfway done. Jennifer's career began in graphic design, but it was her passion for the holistic guest experience that inspired her to co-found Ideation. She envisioned a firm that could guide projects from concept through completion within a single collaborative team. Today, she directs a dynamic cross-disciplinary group known for its agility, innovation, and ability to deliver world-class results on tight timelines and budgets. Under her leadership, Ideation Design Group has grown into a 100% woman-owned firm. Her management style is rooted in empathy and integrity. Jennifer fosters a culture of respect, supports the development of emerging talent, and approaches every project with the same dedication and accountability she would bring to her own ventures. She is also deeply committed to giving back, particularly to causes that support underserved communities and empower future generations. Jennifer spearheads Ideation's ongoing work for the Salvation Army, including the annual Silver Bells Gala, back-to-school donation drives, and holiday events for families in need. The firm not only sponsors these initiatives, but actively participates, reflecting her belief that design should always serve the greater good. A strong advocate for women in design and architecture, Jennifer encourages her team to contribute to local causes and pursue volunteer opportunities that align with their values. She views philanthropy as a vital part of leadership and believes it should be embedded at the heart of business culture. Justina, I'm so glad it's you on and not Ricky, because he would have given me so much flack, except for especially for that area. There was a lot of peas and it was a lot. Anyway, welcome, Jennifer. Yay. If you don't know her, now you do. And then for our leaper who created a tweet as his bio, Louis Hubbard II, Assistant Director of Aviation at Baton Rouge Metro Airport, leverages over 12 years of experience in the aviation industry. Previously, he oversaw concessions and leasing at Louis Armstrong New Orleans Airport, helping launch its new terminal and program. A Texas Southern University aviation science alumnus and former D1 baseball athlete, he champions innovation and impact. Thank you, Louis.
All right, so we'll give Lauryn a moment to catch her breath. Lauryn, I'm glad it's you on the call with me and not my sister, because she would ask both of us where our lipstick is. So I'm going to start with the question for both of you. And Lauryn always gets on me. I've done this with her only once before about my questions, but I can't help but to do a little bit of research on them. I'm sure the audience, as I'm curious to know, would like to know, what, if you could share, was a pivotal moment in your career that significantly influenced your approach to airport management and innovation?
This is how you know she wrote her questions down.
She or someone on my behalf. So we'll start with you, Louis. What was a moment that was pivotal in your career that let you know you were in the right place at the right time, or that you had an aha moment that has sparked some innovation that still will live on beyond you, past you?
That's a good question. Pivotal moment. I would have to say it was when I guess transferred into the concession and leasing department in MSY. It was really at a pivotal moment, to steal your word. It was at the basic start of the new terminal project. And I'm someone, I had been at the airport at that point for 2.5 years in operations. And I moved to this department, and then we started talking about opening the terminal and, having to stand up this new concessions program. And so when I kind of sat down and digested what that meant and realized you know, we're gonna do the research, we're gonna, do the footwork to lay down this program. And this program is gonna be in place for the next 30 or so years. This is really a chance to kind of help mold the experience that our visitors coming into New Orleans at the time would, the first thing that they see, and the first thing that they see coming into the city, and the first thing that they see leaving the city as well. And it really hit me at that point of just the impact that was at hand for that particular project. Now, obviously, I'm not in New Orleans anymore. I'm in Baton Rouge. I still have people coming to me on the street talking about the New Orleans airport, the New Orleans program. I've traveled through there since being here in Baton Rouge, and I kind of just chuckle at the stories I tell for each unit or each small little thing as a part of that project, and it just it warms my heart to kind of see that that program operating.
Very cool. You don't get to have those type. A lot of people didn't get to have an opportunity to be able to have that type of story to tell. So that's very cool. Let's hear from you, Jennifer, around how you had, what innovation have you had that if you can mention your favorite one that was most impactful, something that came out of your shop.
I think way back when I was a baby designer, I was working in a studio and I had a bunch of guys that were running Las Vegas airport projects and Phoenix projects. And they were a little bit lacking in the people skills. And so a little bit. And so my boss comes to me as a baby designer and he's like, hey, I need you to get in here and you need to handle operations and you need to deal with the airport and smooth this over and make it work. And so that was kind of a pivotal moment for me because before I was just doing the design, but then I got really into working with operations and making sure things worked really well and then conveying that to the airport. And that kind of set me on the path that I'm on now. And that's really what I love to do. I like that collaboration and I like dealing with the airports. I like dealing with the concessionaires and operations and making that all come together.
My son liked your answer so much, he decided to have a cameo in the background in case you're wondering who that was. There you go, Lauryn. You thought I wasn't going to bring any energy to this conversation.
I was also going to say, if your sister's on the call, let her know this is like a high gloss, but it's more of a nudie lip. So I'm not completely naked. So if she does come for either of us, I'm covered. In all seriousness, guys, feel free to drop any questions that you have in the chat. We will be going through those and just addressing any and everything that everyone is saying. If you have any questions for Louis or Jennifer. Now, Jennifer, I'm excited because, AMAC has been doing a phenomenal job over the past few years and really expanding the footprint of AEC representation with AMAC and just with the industry as a whole. AEC is like, you guys are a very integral part in what actually happens at the airports from an architecture and engineering and a construction perspective. And we've had several individuals from the AEC side come on to Legends and Leapers. My question for you, I believe you're the first woman-owned architecture and engineer firm that's come on. How did that come about? Besides the fact that your old boss was like putting you in the mix and you're like, wait a minute, I can do this. But how did that transition happen from you all of a sudden being the face, to the airports to you being an owner of Ideation Design Group?
Well, so when I was telling you about when I started out for a baby designer, I worked for a firm called AAD in Scottsdale, and basically they sold to Fitch. I worked there for like 8 years and they sold to Fitch and we all got fired. So that was, the transition, they let everybody go. And so I started consulting just a little bit and old clients were calling saying, what are you doing? And I got more work and I got more work. And then my boss that fired us got fired. And so I reached out and I was like, that didn't work out so good for you, did it? And so I had to put a little dig in there. And I was getting more and more work and aviation. And it was like, maybe we could put the band back together. And so little by little, our first project for Ideation was Minneapolis RFP. And that was all she wrote. And so this is our 21st year. My partner, Carl Schaefer, retired last year. So I was always majority owner, but now I'm 100% the owner. And I was also like, my task has always been what I said, like dealing with clients, dealing with authorities, presenting RFPs, kind of putting a face to everything. So that's kind of my wheelhouse. He was a little more behind the scenes, I guess I would say. So that's kind of it.
No, that
Wait,
makes
so
total
you hired the person that fired you? The coolest.
Yeah.
Justina, I'm glad you picked up on that. Okay, Lewis. So I know you have this baby face, but I want people to know that you've been in the game for over a decade now. And you have, I mean, I always, whenever I see Kevin, I always mention you. But you have done absolutely amazing things at MSY, and now, taking your talents to another area in New Orleans. What has been the biggest kind of change that you've seen over the past 12 years as the leaper on this call, as far as the industry is concerned?
Say the biggest change coming in, I think I'm noticing a lot more, I would say, inclusivity, or definitely conversations around that. When I started, I guess, traveling the circuit to the different industry shows, it was a bit overwhelming. As you mentioned, I have a baby face now, so you can imagine what it looked like 12 years ago. And just my head swimming with just trying to understand just how the industry works. And then also just at that point, not a lot of people that looked like me, and which I felt comfortable, approaching and kind of, gathering information from. So through the 12 years that I've been in the industry, I've definitely seen that start to change and start to shift. I definitely think there's still a ways to go, but that's probably the biggest thing that I would say that I've noticed from an industry perspective. Obviously, through those 12 years, I'm 35 now, and now I'm starting to see more and more people my age as well starting to come into the industry as well. And so that's definitely refreshing as well.
You guys are both in great positions for yourselves and for the industry. If someone were to ask you, where do you think the biggest opportunity is in aviation right now? Something that you would take advantage of, or you recommend somebody take advantage of because it's just right for the pickings. Where would you lead them or point them? Jennifer, we'll start with you.
Well, I would say for me in my industry, if you were going to look at the AEC, I really think that there's an opportunity for somebody like me that understands aviation and concessions to really influence airports and RFPs and design criteria. Because I think, you get these big, beautiful terminals that are built and these big architects that do these beautiful designs, but they don't really think about all the things that the concessions need. And so I really, as we all know, there's been a bajillion RFPs in the last, 18 months. And just seeing that, I think that really is an opportunity moving forward to kind of look at that and make sure concessions are well thought out, I guess I would say.
I'm trying to figure out if you said that for me or not, because it's kind of like a plug for what I do for a living. That was a big layup. But I digress. Yes. The good answer, though. There is a lot of opportunity. I think we were talking about with Lewis when we were saying that's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity where you get to build a new terminal, much less shut one down. Shout out to the one that we had the reception for AMAC in New Orleans recently. But same with these new designs for these new terminals and these new concessions with people who are have an opportunity to do something in their career that they haven't done before, and then translate that into documents that will ensure the success and livelihood of a lot of others. But Lewis, how would you answer the question about where would you steer people?
There's a couple of different answers that make sense here. I'm going to take the opportunity to plug airport management. Recently at the AMAC conference, I participated in Project Lift event. This is my second year doing it. And just out speaking to the students there and just speaking to, you know, the community from a day-to-day standpoint, a lot of people don't consider airports. I don't think they consider how an airport is operated, you know, who's running them, what that entails and things like that. So I think there's a lot of education that needs to be had just from external standpoint and educating the community on the opportunities at the airport. But I mentioned in my previous response that I think obviously we've seen an influx of inclusivity. There's younger folks coming into the industry at this point, but we still have a ways to go. And really speaking to the youth now, hey, give aviation, give airport management in particular, you know, a strong consideration. It's not just the airlines and airports, it's not just flight attendants, it's not just ramp workers. There's an administrative staff that actually runs the airport from a business perspective, and really give it a second look and really look into it and consider potentially going into that field. So I would say aviation management is definitely an opportunity.
What would you say to convince them other than it's sexy? That's what I say about aviation. Ever since I got in, I've been attached or glued at the hip. How would you sell it to them outside of there's opportunity?
I would tell it to them. Obviously, the first thing I would say is, one, it's an opportunity to really shape the experience of visitors to your city and region. You can really meet them at the forefront, meet them, you know, when they get off that plane or when they get on that plane, they hit that point or from. It's a real chance to really shape their experience coming into the city.
That sounds like sexy. That sounds great. Go ahead. You got another one.
Commercial side, that was really the thing that really attracted me and really, you know, even that impact there. Outside of that, I mean, obviously aviation is the safest mode of transportation that we have today. There's airports everywhere. There's a wealth of opportunity. There's a multitude of different directions you can go in once you kind of get in, and it's a small industry. So I just think there'll continue to be opportunity as folks come in, they get established, and they continue to grow, and they can kind of chart the path from there.
Very cool.
So I'm going to stay down that line because you guys know I love a good succession planning talk. As far as, you know, emerging leaders and really being able to attract young professionals. So Jennifer, in your bio, you talked about identifying emerging talent. And Louis, I can't even say that you're emerging talent anymore because you're killing it. And in the position that you're in. So, and I hear what you guys are saying, what you said about this next generation and how to attract them. But how are you guys, and if you are, how are you going out and finding this talent?
Yeah,
and
how do you reach back?
Yeah, and what are you doing to retain it? Either if it's in giving back, but more so, how are you finding the talent? And then what are you doing to retain the talent within your organizations?
Who do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
Jennifer, it's your turn.
Okay. So, you know, finding talent is a challenge these days, as we all know. I don't know where everybody went from COVID, but it's definitely a challenge for sure. We do a lot of things with local organizations. So memberships, like I'm a member of IIDA, which is the International Interior Design Association. NEWH is Executive Women in Hospitality. So we really try to participate in a lot of those events and find some of the students, the younger designers that are coming out of school. You know, everybody needs a start. Everybody needs a chance. And so, you know, I'm always more than willing to do that. We do interns a lot. We've got 3 of them right now. And our goal is always to hire that intern full time when they're done with school. So, you know, we do those kinds of things. We also, we've sponsored a scholarship. So we do food service design, which is laying out the kitchens for said restaurants. And that's definitely a niche. There's not a lot of food service designers running the streets out there. So we're partnering with NAU, the School of Hospitality at Northern Arizona University, and we're giving a scholarship to a student that wants to go into the food service design category, and so help them pay for school. They've got a hospitality school up there, so we're working on that, putting that together. That's our latest brainchild. So, you know, we try to do that kind of stuff. As for retaining talent, I mean, I am blessed because I do have a lot of employees that have been here for a really long time. Lauryn knows. But we try to do a lot of things, like we have family lunch on Wednesday where we all sit and have lunch together, and teams take turn making lunch, or we provide lunch. We do a lot of social stuff. So we do the Salvation Army. So all the designers participate in the Silver Bells, and some of the senior staff. We do Habitat for Humanity. We did a house for veterans that came back from the war and basically had kind of been cleaned out by the people that they left behind, so they were homeless. So there's a house here called the James Walton Center, and it's since closed, but we did help them, you know, picking out finishes and doing the architecture for their building and that kind of thing. So we try to just kind of find things to engage people, make them feel good about giving back to. And I just think it's the right way to be. We can do it. We can afford it. We've been blessed. So we turn it around.
I love that. Sorry, I'm gonna say my comments, but go ahead, Lewis.
I think a couple of different ways. Obviously, the outreach efforts and Project Lift being one of those. We speak locally here to groups and camps and things like that to kind of spark interest there. Also, you talk about building that pipeline. Here local to Baton Rouge, we have LSU is here in our hometown. Southern University is here in our hometown, along with Baton Rouge Community College. And so we have a internship program that students can come into, and they can work as a part of this internship program through their, as they're in college. And then the hope is that they will, of course, once they graduate, they choose to, they can step into a role here at the airport. So we have that internship program. We also partner with our local high school school system here as well. We offer an internship throughout the year. And so we have 2 students here throughout the year, shadowing different department heads and as part of their curriculum in high school to kind of spark their interest there. We've also partnered with a summer youth program, the Big Buddy program, here locally in Baton Rouge, part of our mayor's office. And it's for middle to high school kids to come in during the summer and kind of get an internship and get experience in the airport as well. In addition to that, here at Baton Rouge, I don't know, there's not many airports in the country that has this. We actually have a high school on campus. A school on campus, I should say. It started out as a high school. It started out having a grade a year. But last year, they were fortunate enough to purchase a charter school that had closed up shop. And so that afforded them to just expand. So now they're K through 12 currently. And it's an aviation-based curriculum. It's centered around, pilots, becoming a pilot, airplane pilots, helicopter pilots, as well as airport management as well. And so that curriculum is solely focused on that. It's Helix Aviation. And so obviously they're right here on our property. There's flight simulators there. And so obviously in conjunction with them, we continue to build that pipeline as well. So I think it's a couple of different avenues that we're exploring and we are doing today. In terms of retention, I would say we're still it's a bit of a work in progress for us. I mentioned before the call that we're going through a governance change. We're transitioning from a city-run airport to a independent airport authority, if you will. And the main push behind that was from an HR and a talent retention, attraction and retention standpoint. And so I think the important thing is, as I mentioned, more and more younger professionals are coming into the industry. We have to continue to think about in succession planning, how do we cater to them? Because obviously the millennials and the generations after that, we obviously value different things in the workplace than our parents and grandparents did. And so we have to continue to cater to that and rebrand ourselves and make sure that we're positioned as best as possible. I think this governance change, once we get it in place, that's one of our main focuses, kind of change that benefits package, change the culture around here to try to continue succession planning and remain, at the forefront of our region.
That's awesome.
I have a fun question next. I love those answers, by the way. I think that's really cool that you got a campus on your airport property.
Because
Um,
we're seeing that more in Canada now.
Well, you know, Houston is going to have that with Ellington Field, where they're going
Oh,
to have
wow.
a college campus partnership with TSU. And they're going
TSU.
to, and the Lone Star, TSU, a couple of colleges, and they'll have classes to get people interested in aviation and what have you. So I
That's
think it's
awesome.
really cool, but it's coming. It's not there, it's coming.
Right.
Shout out to Spaceport in Houston. So question for you two, this is more fun. What is your favorite airport that you like traveling through and why? And what have you done to bring that into the fold for what you're responsible for? So you, Jennifer, into your future design efforts, you, Lewis, in your future management effort. But what is your favorite airport that you've been to and why? And then what have you done to emulate anything from those places? Jennifer.
Well, I've got to say, I think New Orleans. Like,
Really?
I hadn't
Are
been
you
to New
competing for
Orleans.
RFP right now there? Or no, I was kidding. Jokes.
No, but I went to the conference and I had worked on the RFP went before the airport was built way back when, but I'd never seen it in person. And, the documents that you saw before didn't do it justice. Like I was impressed. It was well thought out and I liked the way everything was laid out. And I think it had a very 360 visibility, which, in a lot of older airports we don't get. I just thought, it was just easy to navigate. It was easy to get through. The concessions were very well thought out, very well presented in especially unique footprints. I was impressed by New Orleans, I would say.
All right, now, Lewis, you cannot use the same airport.
Sorry, Lewis.
Even though you had a big hand in that one.
I think I'd have to say Baton Rouge.
Oh, you know what, you nerds. Maybe I should say, go ahead and tell us why, because
In
I haven't been
his
to Baton
defense,
Rouge
he
Airport.
says you can't say New Orleans. So,
Yeah. He's a
Yeah.
wordplay guy. Let's hear about it, Lewis. Why is Baton Rouge your favorite airport?
So aside from the fact that it's my place of employment, it's conveniently easy. And the first time I walked through the doors here, and I kind of realized just how easy it is to maneuver this airport, how easy it is to get through the TSA checkpoint and things like that. It became a no-brainer. And I think the first thing was I told my wife, I was like, I flew out and I was through security in 4 minutes. I'm used to going out of New Orleans and, depending on when you catch it, it's definitely a lot longer than 4 minutes, things like that. So just the convenience of it, to me, was the best thing. Other thing I really liked is there's a uniqueness to it. It feels like the Baton Rouge region. A lot of local participation and local partnership here. One of my favorite things here is we have a partnership with a local art gallery, Baton Rouge Gallery, and a lot of folks don't know this. There's art throughout the terminal there that they curate, and a lot of folks don't know that the art is for sale. And so as you kind of maneuver through the airport and you see things, if you like the art, you can scan a QR code on it, and you'll pay for it. They'll come package it up and ship it to wherever you need to go to. And so it's little things like that I think really drive home the guest experience that makes Baton Rouge my favorite here.
Okay, I get it. I like that. That's fair. And art, I think, is very fun too.
there's an art exhibit that you can actually purchase the art. If he didn't get you when he said it takes me 4 minutes.
Yeah, I did 4 minutes.
To get to my
Well,
gate, if that didn't get
How
you,
many passengers do you guys have?
it takes me 4 minutes, and there's time to look and buy art while I'm there. So I feel like that's a selling point for me, Lewis. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm gonna pivot a little bit. I feel like we've been super airport professional heavy, and I kind of want to get into you guys' personal lives. So Justina, I know you might not have personal questions written down, but just follow my lead. Okay, so Lewis, you are a father of 2.
Yeah.
Jennifer, you are a mother of 2. This is going to be a double whammy as far as the question is concerned. was there ever a point, or Lewis, is there a point where you're like, you know what? I kind of want my kids to be enamored by what I do and follow in my footsteps? And Jennifer, I know your kids are a little bit older. What did that look like for you? If so, what did that look like for you? And Lewis, if that's the kind of the direction you're headed towards, I feel like maybe take some notes from Jennifer, or kind of let us know what you're thinking to, you know, in that regards.
Absolutely. So, you mentioned I'm a father to, my kids are very young. My oldest is 4, and my youngest is at 18 months. He'll be 2 in December. 2 boys. And I really took the approach. I didn't want to be too much of an influence. I kind of wanted them to kind of figure out, you know, what they want to do, what they like before, you know, I put my influence on it. But I didn't have that chance. So my wife is actually in the aviation industry as well. She works for Delta Airlines. And so if you talk to my oldest, Louis III, he will tell you right now that he wants to be a pilot. He knows he's going to be a pilot. He wants to be a pilot, and that's our discussion day in and day out. I like to think that was heavily influenced, you know, just by how frequently we travel. So he was on an airplane since he was probably 7 or 8 months, and that really, you know, he was really exposed to it at a really early age. And when I tell you, you know, he has his iPad, he has YouTube Kids on his iPad, and he wants to see, you know, planes landing, planes taking off. He asked for a flight simulator on the Nintendo Switch. And so it warms my heart to see that. I don't think he fully understands what I do just yet, or his mom for that matter. But it warms my heart because, you know, I didn't push that on him. You know, he kind of, you know, he was exposed to that, and he kind of he embraced it on his own. So we'll see if that continues as he gets older. But you know, it definitely, like I said, it definitely warms my heart to kind of hear him, see him talk about airplanes and airports and things like that at such a young age. My youngest son, Luca, like I said, same thing. He's too young right now to kind of really start showing interest on things, but he follows in his brother's footsteps and everything else. And so we'll see kind of, you know, where he goes from there. But like I said, you know, building that pipeline.
Well, don't follow in my footsteps, Louis, because I was not successful in this, and my kids are much older than yours. So just so you know, my oldest son, Jack, is 24. He just turned 24. And my youngest son is 20. He'll be 21 in a month. So my husband's in the golf course industry. So from birth, he was like, these kids are going to be the next Tiger Woods. They're going to be golfers. Forget it. Like, so that wasn't really an option for me, just so you know. That didn't work out, in case you're wondering. So my oldest son, he dabbled a little. He took some CAD classes. He wasn't really feeling it. He took some graphic design classes, wasn't really feeling it. So then he just graduated from vocational school, actually. So he's going into HVAC. So that's like the closest I'm going to get, I think. And then my youngest wanted to be a chef up until he worked in a restaurant for a summer and then decided, nope, not going to do that. So now he's in cybersecurity. Go figure. So yeah, so I mean, you know,
I can just see like you guys at your house, like your husband's trying to be like, here, golf clubs. And you're like, no, build things. Like the battle.
And he's like, no, I'm gonna get behind this computer.
Right. And HVAC it is.
Yeah, and they just walk away with the hand and just, yeah.
Okay, so Louis, thank you both, because this question was for me, because I was like, do I go and buy that Lego airport set that April Stewart told me about? But from what Louis is saying so far, it's still early, right, Louis?
Yeah.
Is don't push. You just kind of like show them what you do. Okay. Because Jennifer, it sounds like you pushed a little bit and they're like, yeah, no, I'm going to be a chef for cybersecurity.
Yeah, I don't know, Lauryn. I didn't push my son, and he said the one thing I don't want to do is anything close to what you do because you work too hard. So I don't know. You might want to tell them what you do so you can make, because we make it look easy to the people we work with, but to the people that live with us, it don't look so easy.
And I think you said it earlier, Steve, like you got to make it look sexy. So we
Yeah,
got
you gotta make it look
Lewis
sexy.
is like, see, daddy works at the airport, mommy works for the airlines. We fly and go places. You
Yes.
know,
Yeah.
like the correlation of the two. All right. So we tend to talk about this, and I kind of want to get into it. You two have done a lot in your careers. Jennifer, you've been in your career a little bit longer than Lewis has. But Lewis, even as our leaper, you've done a lot in your career. I want to say two things. What is one thing that you can look back and say, you know what, I couldn't have done it without this? And who? So I want to know a what and a who. Who is that individual that really like shaped you into who you are now? And then what was that turning point?
So I think what I'm going to go back to um, the concessions at MSY. Like I said when we started the call, that was the turning point. It was a rapid. I refer to it as really like a rapid just gaining of knowledge and experience in a short period of time. Really, kind of just thrown into the fire and learning and figuring it out at that point. There was a lot of flying bullets at that time, and we were trying to hit deadlines and things like that, and trying to sign up the program. So that was the point that really shaped me. Because as I mentioned before that, I was in an entry-level position in airport operations, just doing general inspections of the airfield and the airport terminal. And now kind of in this commercial side and the business side, like I said, really shaping what this airport in the city and region is going to look like for the next 20 or 30 years. So that was the pivotal point. The who, from a professional standpoint, I would say it's not one person, it's probably two.
Okay.
I'll
allow it.
Two, one being the current director of aviation at MSY, Kevin Dolio. And at the time, it was the CFO, Henrietta Brown. Really, for me, entrusting me, being the mentors, being the soundboards for the different ideas I had and things like that. But from a different standpoint, for me, being able to watch and observe them in their role and how they kind of took their day-to-day and how they succeeded really helped me as a young up-and-coming professional. Seeing somebody who lived it every day, day in and day out, who looked like me, who was at the level that I wanted to be at. And that helped me tremendously. So I would definitely point to those two persons.
All right, Jennifer, now you get two people.
I know. Well, first I'm going to start with thank you for pointing out how old I am over this whole course of this deal, because I'm going to age myself in a minute.
If I didn't do it, your bio did. Okay.
I know.
It wasn't your face, because your goals.
Well, thank you. So, well, there's on a personal level and on a professional level, I would say, personally, my mom and my husband, because I started Ideation and I had an 18-month-old son and I was pregnant with another, and my husband really stepped up. Like, it wasn't easy to start a business, and, architecture and design, you work a lot of hours, and aviation clients are nutty and crazy deadlines, and they want what they want, and you got to do it. And so definitely I'd have to give a shout out to him. And then I would give a shout out to my mom, because my mom was a boss when not a lot of women were bosses, and she showed me how to do it. And she said, you do what you need to do, and it's all about you, and don't apologize for that. And so I would say those two people shaped how I got to where I am. But professionally, I was very blessed to have people that, this was 30 years ago. And when a young woman walks into an airport meeting or a client meeting, I had lots of people call me a secretary or an assistant. And so
ask you to get the coffee.
Yeah. What do you take notes? What are you doing here? Kind of thing. And but I would say that Terrielle in Phoenix and Paula Kuchars with the aviation office were both immensely kind and taught me so much about how to work the system, how to get around the people that are bozos and that ask you to go get the coffee, and to kind of stand in your truth and own it. I mean, they were my first client right out of college, and I still talk to them today, 30 years later, and they were really just above and beyond.
Well, I want to thank you for qualifying how many years, because you put that out there.
I know, I did it. I just owned it.
And
You got on Lauryn.
Right.
30 years in the game now.
Right.
And Lewis is like, Lewis is like at my ripe age of 35.
I know.
Yeah.
When he said that, I was like,
And add to my statement, because I know Jennifer mentioned personal. I want to make sure to mention that I'm sure my wife will be watching at some point. From a personal standpoint, definitely my wife, she makes it all happen. She has a bit more flexibility in her role. And so I just want to give a shout out to her. She has the kids, she has the boys, and she's looking after them to allow me to do what I can do. So I definitely want to give a huge shout out to my wife, and then also my parents as well. Coming up, making sure, keeping me on the right track. Sacrificing, putting me and my two sisters through private school and high school in New Orleans. Really making sure that we were on the right path to set me up for where I am today. So I just want to say, from a personal standpoint, I wanted to mention them and say thank you to them as well.
Big check of the box. I hope you get pie for dessert after dinner.
He knows what side of the bread. He knows what side of his bread is buttered.
Absolutely. Good. At the ripe age of 35, which is
at the ripe age of 35, right?
Lewis.
It's funny because I was laughing, so I said Lewis got 2, so Jennifer's like, I'm taking 2 more, and Lewis was like, no,
she said, I see you 2 and raise you 1
and raise you another 1.
I'm gonna give you guys something else. Lauryn doesn't think I have a personal question. That's why she talked over my opportunity to ask, but I'm gonna go and jump in anyways, double Dutch style. Everything that you have in common with, if definitely the panel, most of the people in the audience, but for those who might be curious, what would you say your most memorable AMAC moment or connection was from going to your AMAC conferences? What was that for you? Like your favorite or most memorable introduction or exposure or connection that you made at an AMAC conference?
Over Jennifer's 30 years and Lewis's 12?
Pick one of those 30 years. I know she's been to the.
I'm like, I can't remember that far back.
I'll jump in.
I was gonna say Lewis goes first.
I'm gonna take the chance to plug the most recent conference in New Orleans.
You know what? The level of nerd here is really getting exhausting, Lewis. You just all New Orleans conference, really New Orleans, everything, or Louisiana over everything.
He's Louisiana born and bred. He's not leaving, Justina. You should have prefaced it when you asked the question.
Even in cricket, it was a great conference. So what you
got? It's an experience. I really got to give a huge shout out to the team. The session with John Hope was amazing.
Oh my God!
I really enjoyed that one, and that one is the one that stuck out to me the most, leaving the conference. And so I wanted to make sure that I mentioned that as an answer to your question, because I've now subscribed to his podcast.
Me too.
And things like that, and I'm listening on a weekly basis. So that one really stuck with me for sure.
Awesome. What you got, Jennifer? I also bum rushed the stage and managed to get an autographed book. So I too, that was one of my favorite memories of this last conference. Lauryn knows I don't wait for permission, but go ahead, Jennifer. What was your favorite?
I was like, oh, the pressure. I mean, the thing that I like about the conferences, it's very welcoming, and I don't know, I can't quantify it necessarily. Like, I'm in the A&E community, and so like I don't always see the people that are here. Like, I've got a lot of connections, that random ones here or there, but everybody's so welcoming, and you meet people and there's like this 6th degree of separation. I will say from New Orleans, like Lauryn's mom, Lachelle, and her dad, so kind to me and introduced me to anybody and everybody. And I'm sure everybody's like, I'm so sick of hearing this woman. But and the year before, the airport people from SFO were super sweet, introduced me to people and singing my praises. It wasn't just one event. It was like just the inclusivity that is really kind of struck me. That's the thing that I carry from year to year, is this inclusivity of, nobody knows who you are, and they're welcoming, and what what do you have? And they call you after. I can't tell you how many people like I've gotten emails from, hey, it was so good to meet you and see you. And if you ever come back or you want to do this, or let me know. And it's just, that's what sticks about it. Like, I've been to other conferences. They're not like this. This is that one where it's just so inclusive, and it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter what it is, whether I'm a sucker for the Shark Tank thing. I do love that. That's my favorite.
Awesome. Sheila Johnson.
That's my favorite part. But it's like, if I was gonna promote the conference, I would say like it's the inclusivity and that everybody is so welcoming, and it doesn't matter if they have nothing to do with what you do. They'll find a way. Oh, I've got a friend who has a restaurant here, like maybe needs an architect. Like, they'll find a way versus, other conferences where it's like, oh, we don't have any connection. Nice to meet you. See ya.
Yeah. I think someone said the biggest compliment I got was at the last conference, and I was making connection from a conversation that I had 2 days before to a conversation that I was in, and then I brought that vendor to that airport and was like, you remember you said you wanted to do this, this is how you can get that done. You guys talk about it. And I sped off, and someone that observed it said, Justine, the reason why your Rolodex is so big is because you share it. And I think AMAC is a big opportunity for people to be able to share their Rolodex in meaningful and direct ways, right? So there you go, Lauryn. How about that?
No, you did a great job. I feel like it's funny, and again, we listen and we don't judge. I feel like we have to put like air tags on people. Like, we need to know people's locations, because the hardest part, Justina, to your point, is like, I just met somebody 2 days ago and I need to introduce them to Jennifer. I got to find Jennifer. Like, I haven't seen her since, you know what I mean? So it's like, just be able to pull up her air tag, because why not have 1,500 people's locations at your fingertips to be able to connect everybody?
Guides them in and around me. And I'm like, boom, here, I meant to bring you guys together. And that's why I was because I was on my way somewhere else.
No,
I just want to thank you guys on the call, Louis, as well as Jennifer, participating in this game that we'll play the next time we meet, as well as everyone else that's listening. You too can be a connection for someone.
Right.
No, I absolutely love that. And Jennifer, I think you said it best. The inclusivity. I don't know how many people have seen the movie Poetic Justice, but I always say this. I said, going to an AMAC conference is like Poetic Justice when Tupac walked into the picnic. It was like a family picnic, and he's like, and everyone's like, cousin. You literally walk in knowing no one, knowing nothing. And then you walk out with like, I just met my family, like, these are my people. And to be able to have those relationships, and then you're looking forward to the next AMAC, just to be able to, to see all of those people again. And like Camille said, be like, cousin, all over again. But thank you for sharing that. I truly do appreciate it, because I think that is the biggest thing that sets AMAC apart. As far as conferences, that and the entertainment. You guys didn't mention that, but you were trying to keep it professional. I get it. Ramon's on here, which means
the Sandman coming.
Ramon's on here, right? Which means he's trying to kick us off. But I have one last thing, and I know we talked about just kind of the integral part. With everything going on in the world, right? I'm always about giving people their flowers. And you two know how absolutely amazing you are, and you know how I feel about you two. But who you have a moment, right? Who do you want to give them their flowers, and why?
And his sound went out, but I think he said his wife. That sounds like something he's about to say. Go ahead. Is it Baton Rouge or is it New Orleans, Louis?
Personally.
Say that again, Louis.
Personally or personally?
All right, fine. Because you two keep pushing the envelope. You have 2 bouquets you can give out, okay?
One personally, one professional. Who you going with, Louis?
Personally, I would say it's hard. It's a hard decision.
I'm telling Ricky,
I would just bust the flowers up and break them out and give them all to my haters, because they made me who I am today. You get a flower. You get a flower.
Yeah. I'm just gonna run in and say my family.
All
my
right.
immediate family for just making it all possible for the reasons I mentioned previously. Professionally, I would split that same bouquet and give it to the same person I mentioned before, Kevin Dolio,
Dolio, I knew, yeah.
Henrietta Brown as well, for giving me the opportunity to learn and grow and to be what I am today.
Okay, all right. I feel like I should have put some more contingencies on your question.
You should put some parameters. I
I
told you it was
needed- I
going to be
needed
his
to put
wife, but he said his
parameters.
family.
His flowers didn't.
He added Henrietta in there. That was fair. That was fair.
Yeah. But I should have said your flowers don't grow in in Louisiana. Where do you give them to? Jennifer, go ahead.
Jennifer, give Jennifer the Phoenix parameters. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm gonna surprise you. Get ready. I gave a lot of people props already, but I would say the AMAC connection that I would give a flower to would be Ron Gomes.
Oh.
So Ron and I have been friends a long time, and we worked together a long time, and he bought me dinner this last conference and the one before, so we catch up, and he kind of takes care of me as well, introduces me, and he's a good man. He always has been. He's never changed. So I would give it to Mr. Gomes.
It's very cool. That's the other thing I would say about the AMAC connections. Not only do they recognize you in the room as cousins, but they look out, they check for you. Like, where is so-and-such? Are they here yet? I want to make sure I get a chance to speak. They'll look for you and keep feeding that connection. It's not empty networking. So that's a cool one. I like him as well.
It's recorded, so I guess he'll have to see this, but I was shocked. But no.
He's probably not watching. I watched his, I want you to know, but
now we have to give him a hard time, because I looked up the attendees, and Ron, he might have had to drop off, but I mean, he's like half retired, half consultant, so I don't understand why he's not here, Jennifer.
He might be on
we're going to have to let him know that he missed his flowers when they were given to him. So
Lewis is playing this Leaps and Legends and Leapers at his next Thanksgiving dinner. Everybody's going to sit in the family. Just so you know.
And every time he walks through MSY or goes to Baton Rouge, he's like, you get a flower, you get a flower. Did you hear me mention your name 12 times on Legends and Leapers? You get a flower.
Right. I think I might know some of your people now that I think about it.
But I agree, Ron Gomes is a great one.
Absolutely. Good pick.
Oh, that's so funny. So
Ramon, we'll let Ramon do his job.
Yeah,
I was going to say, Ramon's back on here. I was going to take a little bit of his shine, but I don't want to do that. But I truly appreciate this, guys. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Lewis. Thank you, Justina, for standing in and even going off your script and asking a few questions. We truly appreciate it. You guys are absolutely amazing. Lewis, again, like, giving you your flowers. As a leaper, as a young professional, you have truly, I feel like, been behind the scenes. But if you know, and you are just rising through the ranks just at leaps and bounds, and it truly is refreshing to see. And I think that you are for someone who Kevin is for you, and you don't even realize it yet. And so I appreciate you, and keep doing what you're doing. Jennifer, same thing. If you know, you've been, you kind of stay under the radar, even in your several decades of doing this. But the work that you do is just, it's besides award winning, it's absolutely phenomenal. And you are just a breath of fresh air, in every room that you walk into. So I just thank you all so much for taking the time and, entertaining us, today, and, putting Louisiana on the map, Lewis, for this past hour. But thank you all so much. Sorry, go ahead, Ramon.
All right, thank you so much, both Jennifer and Lewis. As always, I'm a little disappointed in Justina. I thought she would have asked this question, which is, what would 35-year-old Lewis ask his 33-year-old self? And what would he but that's
Lauryn
for the
said,
part two.
can it with the cans.
No. The question should have been, Lewis, is Beyonce better in London or Las Vegas?
Yeah. Oh, that's right. He travels for
London.
that.
London it
All right,
is.
London Beyonce it is. Okay.
It is. And with that, I want to thank our guests. I want to thank our hosts, Lauren and Justina. This has been informative as always. And as a reminder, this is being recorded. We are going to post it on our YouTube channel, so you can then watch it, just like Lewis probably will within the next barbecue on repeat. But please make sure you go to amac-org.com/WIAS. Sign up to register for our upcoming She Soars Women in Aviation Summit with our friends in Atlanta, Georgia, Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. So please make sure you attend because it is very, very important. And with that, I release everyone. Have a great and blessed day and be safe out there. Take care.
See you in Atlanta.
Thank you.
You.